This might be my most in-depth video ever. In this video, we're going to talk about the Easyrig and the Ergorig, two camera support products from two different companies. These rigs are meant to take the weight of a camera off your shoulders and back and put them on your hips and legs, which are much stronger. We'll talk about what these rigs are good at, what they're not so good at, and what makes them different. My goal with this video is to help anyone that may be deciding between these two products to choose which one might work best for them. I'm not being paid or sponsored by either of these companies, and I paid full price for both of these products. But I am open to any and all opportunities, so hit me up. In the video production world, cameras can be heavy. I think the heaviest camera I ever used was around 30 pounds. Imagine that on your shoulder for more than a few minutes, and you can imagine the pain it would cause. Much more if you had it on your shoulder for longer periods of time throughout a 10 or 12-hour day, which is pretty standard in the industry. Now imagine doing that regularly throughout your career and how much damage that would do to your spine. That's a problem all camera operators have to live with, and it kind of sucks. Both of these products have been designed to help with that problem. And can I just say, I am so thankful they both exist. With these rigs, I can shoot longer, with less fatigue, feel less pain, and extend my career without sacrificing my health. Let's start with the Easyrig. The model that I have is called the Easyrig Vario 5, and I have upgraded the arm to the stable G2 arm. Normally it comes with a 5-inch solid arm like this. The rig comes in at around 20 pounds, and the Vario 5 can hold camera weights between 11 and 38 pounds. It comes with a large durable bag and some extras like a belt, pouches, and mints. The cost of the Easyrig and the configuration I have it in here was $6,478. The Easyrig uses a tension system that is built into this reservoir, and it travels through this arm and up and over your head. It also has this big beefy belt, and these two things work together to displace the weight of your camera to your hips and legs. Normally that would be its main function, but with this arm, it serves another purpose as well. With the addition of the stable G2 arm, not only is the weight being taken off of my back, but the vertical movement caused by taking a step is lessened thanks to this gigantic spring. This arm helps to stabilize the camera a little more than the stock counterpart would. It's not going to be as smooth as a Steadicam or a gimbal, but it does counter your footsteps and movement. It's great for general handheld use. Now let's talk about what the Easyrig is good at. It's good at changing your shooting height. You can go from your shoulder height to your waist height in seconds with very little disruption in the frame. Want to go even lower than that or higher? You can do that too. It adds so much value to your shooting capabilities. Without this ability, you're forced to cradle the camera, kneel, or stand on an apple box or something, oftentimes disrupting your shot. And none of those options are particularly comfortable. So it excels at achieving the handheld look by doing it differently. The Easyrig makes operating your camera a more fluid experience. It essentially floats the camera out in front of you so that you can mold it to your will. It frees up the camera and grants the operator the ability to get many different compositions quickly. One of the Easyrig's major benefits is how well it works with a gimbal, granting you all the benefits we've talked about so far, plus the ability to have stabilized footage. And with the stable arm, it's the perfect setup for operating a gimbal for long periods of time. Alright, lots of good uses, but what about the bad? Before I get into that, let me tell you that the good outweighs the bad always with both of these rigs. You are prolonging your career. You're putting your health first, and that is more important than anything else. Please remember that. Where the Easyrig struggles a little bit is with its form factor, which is integral to its design. Because you have this arm above your head, it can make it difficult to travel through doorways or into tight spaces. I myself have never found this to be that big of a deal because, I just duck. But someone 6 feet or above may find it more annoying than I do. One issue I do frequently have is when I have to move equipment. It can be hard to move around with this rig on. You have to be careful not to bonk the arm into anything, and it makes it difficult to bend over. This means I have to take the Easyrig off in order to manipulate the set, and when I need to move quickly, that becomes a hindrance. This might not be an issue for people working on larger sets with the proper support, so take that accordingly. And like I said, the pluses outweigh the minuses. Now let's move on to the Ergorig. The Ergorig currently only has one model, and an optional undersling attachment, which I do not have. It weighs around 5 pounds and comes with a bag. I could not find a limit to how much weight the Ergorig can hold, so I think it's safe to say that if you can support the weight physically with your body, then the Ergorig is going to be able to handle it. The cost of the Ergorig was $1,850. If you get it with the undersling attachment, that will cost an additional $750. The Ergorig works by using a padded metal frame that sits just above your shoulder in combination with the belt that is strapped just above your hips. The result of this is moving the weight off of your shoulders and your back and onto your hips and legs. Here is what the Ergorig is good at. It's good at replicating the classic handheld look and operation. When I talk about handheld camera operation, I'm talking about the golden standard of handheld. The Jason Bourne handheld. The chaotic, intuitive, realistic movement most people are after when they refer to handheld camera operation. The Ergorig allows you to achieve that look without having to actually have the camera on your shoulder, which is pretty great. It's not obtrusive. It's easy to move around between setups with the Ergorig. I like that I don't have to remove it in order to move a light or manipulate the set. I simply put the camera down, do my work, and pick the camera back up, just like if I was using it with no rig at all. And the Ergorig is light. It only weighs 5 pounds. So it's taking the weight off of my back, and it's not adding too much extra weight to the overall setup. That helps out even more when it comes to operating heavy cameras for long periods of time. What about the bad? The goods outweigh the bad once again. If I had to pick something though, I would say that it is not as versatile with different forms of shooting. It's excellent for handheld shooting, but not so much with a gimbal. I mean, you can't really attach a gimbal to it. I guess you could with the undersling attachment, but it's too close to your body and it's really just not meant for that. And you still find yourself occasionally having to kneel or stand on an apple box with this rig. You can actually raise up the shoulder pad so it's even higher off of your shoulder, which will give you that extra height, but it's also kind of awkward to operate the camera when it's way up here. Other than the obvious, how are these rigs different? Although the Ergorig and the Easyrig have a similar purpose, they differ in some key areas. The Ergorig is designed with handheld shoulder operation at its forefront. It is meant to be used with the camera on your shoulder, or in the undersling mode with an attachment. Whereas the Easyrig often puts the camera out in front of you, giving you that floating sensation we talked about earlier. You can operate the Easyrig on your shoulder as well, but I've always found that it works better suspended in front of me. Another difference is the price. The Easyrig is a larger, more versatile setup with more function than just handheld shooting. It also has the complex tension system, which is probably pretty expensive to assemble. Because of all this, it has a higher price tag. The Ergorig is simpler, smaller, and only built for handheld work, so it costs less. So which one is for you? This is a question I had to ask myself as well, because these are not cheap products. It only makes sense for me to have one. I had to think about the work I am doing. For me, that is handheld camera work on smaller sets, often in television or documentary environments. As much as I love the Easyrig and how versatile it is, I have to consider how much I'm able to use it for my jobs. I have to move fast, move lights, constantly move my camera on and off my shoulder, and with the Easyrig, that's tough, so I often find myself not using it. And I want something I can use as often as possible so that I can extend my career and maintain my health. So in my case, that is the Ergorig, because I can keep it on while I'm not shooting, and still do work and bend over and move lights with it on. I wish I could keep both, to be honest. They each have their strengths and weaknesses. I just can't justify spending that amount of money on both. So that's what I would advise you to do. Think about your work. What do you find yourself doing when you are on set? Are you on a larger set where all you have to worry about is operating your camera? Go with the Easyrig. It has amazing functionality, gives a great handheld look, and it's perfect to use with a gimbal. If you're on a smaller set where you're responsible for camera and lighting and many other things, and you gotta move around a lot in between takes, then maybe the Ergorig is a better choice. So take all this with a grain of salt. It's just my opinion after working in the industry for many years. You can use the Easyrig or the Ergorig in pretty much any of the situations we just talked about, but one may work better than the other in some cases. And if you have the money, just get both, then you'll never have to compromise. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and you are great.